time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, hello again, everybody, and welcome. It is the Patrick Johnson Show, 94.3 The Game on this Monday after a very busy weekend in sports, Greenville and beyond. Nice to have you with us here as we are up and running on what is today? The 11th? Is that correct? 11th day of May.
Do it live!
That's right.
Do it live!
We are indeed.
Do it live!
And we will do it live. Philip the Rep Pilkington is here.
Oh, he a cat boy.
No, I think Pilk's a dog guy. But,
I'm definitely a dog guy. I'm not a cat boy.
well, I'm just, you never know. You never know. There's some guys out there that are cat boys that are pretty macho. And I'll let you use your imagination. But, I mean,
Okay.
there's a variety of cat boys out there. So, cat boy can mean anything. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying, dog?
Yeah.
Cat boy can mean anything. I think you may have gotten more FaceTime on television over the weekend. I saw you no fewer than maybe 3 times
Oh,
on
really?
various telecasts emanating out of Greenville over the weekend. I saw you a couple times on the softball telecasts, including on the big ESPN2. And then I saw you one day on our baseball broadcast. We did a crowd shot, and there you were in the stand.
Dang, I wasn't even in the crowd. I wasn't even in the crowd, but for maybe half an inning. So I think I may have been returning a lost water bottle, maybe, or sorry, lost coffee mug.
What you were doing, I can't say, but I just know I saw you there, and I saw you doing what you do best, which is man of the people.
Yeah.
And that's what you were doing. You were a man of the people on that particular occasion.
There's a reason you and Ben want me to be a politician.
I've never said I wanted you to. I just said I agree with them that you could be a politician.
Gotcha.
I think you. Seems like a lot of work for little reward.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But I think you'd be a great politician. Maybe
I
a little
appreciate
later in life.
Maybe.
You could do.
Some small town, more local politics.
Maybe I could see you serving your community or country. However that would be. Pilkington for Congress. Why not?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Only time will tell.
You're thinking it over. Today, are they in or are they out? ECU dropping a series to the Rice Owls, who I thought were outstanding. So we'll get, and I thought ECU was great yesterday. They played fantastic. We'll get into more of this on the top 5 at 5. But Wags, Jonathan Wagner on the big show today from on3.com. He does his Field of 64 projections for college baseball. So one of our favorite guests, our great friend, Jonathan Wagner. Wags will be on the show coming up. All right. Everything that we could talk about that happened, we're going to do in the top 5 at 5. I do want to make one other note that was not in your top 5 at 5, because I did preview the list today. And that is they wrapped up in your hometown the big event at Quail Hollow.
They did,
Is
yeah.
that the Wells Fargo? That's the Wells Fargo.
It is now the
right?
Truist Championship, I believe.
Truist. You know who could have gotten his tickets?
Who?
Into the hospitality tent. Shooky baby.
Well, what the heck were we doing hanging out in Greenville all weekend?
I don't know. I mean, Shook could have hooked us up. He's Mr. Truist himself. So,
Sure.
Raitan, that's who
Yeah.
won.
I don't know who that
Norwegian,
is. Yeah.
I think from a well-off, well-heeled family, from what I understand. This also leads us to PGA Championship Week outside of Philly. I understand that Greenville's Will McKenzie will be on the radio coverage for the national feed this weekend. And we will have our great friend, Brian Mull, on the show Wednesday to discuss. How about that?
There we go. A little preview. I'm excited. Anytime we get Mull on, especially a major week, it'll be fun.
Yes. Let me see here. I need to. Well, we'll do this. Well, we need to promote this because it's happening tomorrow. We will be out tomorrow for opening night of the Bird Dogs, and with no ECU baseball tomorrow because they have canceled their game with the Campbell Camels. You looking for something to do tomorrow night? Head on out. It's $2 Tuesday at the Bird Dogs. $2 tickets, $2 concession items at historic Granger Stadium. Tomorrow the gates will open at Granger on the Superior Metal and Structures concrete field for Bird Dogs baseball, the Down East Bird Dogs home opener. 6 o'clock gates. They open their 2026 home season with the homestand against the Quebec Capitals. $2 Tuesday tickets and select concessions for just $2. Gates open, as we mentioned, at 6. First pitch at 7. Arrive early so you can grab a free Bojangles schedule magnet. While they last, fans will enjoy the ceremonial first pitch. Tonka the Bat Dog will be on hand tomorrow. How about that? So there you go. There's a question to the age-old thing we asked.
Are you a cat boy or a dog boy, Harm?
Bird Dogs are dog boys. Let's see. There'll be free giveaways along with $2 tickets and concessions, as we mentioned. For tickets, go to downeastbirddogs.com. Downeastbirddogs.com. DAWGS. That's dogs. So we'll be there tomorrow doing the show from Radio Row at historic Granger Stadium in K-Town. And that will be a first pitch at 7, but we'll be on the air from 5. I guess for the whole hour tomorrow now.
You and I, or you with possibly me, will be on the air from 5 to 6 on 94.3. Right. I will be on 107.9 from 5 to 7.
Nobody likes a bragger, Bill.
Just spitting
just
facts.
Saying. No, you'll be there. You'll be there. But we'll get you on. I want you on the show tomorrow to do a top 5 with us at least.
Okay.
So we got to figure that out. You can read for those music stations. You can do the hit recorded.
Yeah, I can.
Radio.
Yeah.
All right. We just need you for a few minutes to do top 5 at 5, and we need you now to do the top 5 at 5. Hit it.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
Number one, first a little schedule update. As PJ mentioned, the East Carolina baseball game tomorrow night against Campbell has been canceled. It will not be rescheduled, so the Pirates will wrap up the regular season down in Boca Raton this weekend when they take on the Owls of FAU. Speaking of Owls, they only won 1 out of 2 this past weekend over the Rice Owls. It was spoke about earlier last week that Coach Godwin would challenge the position players at practice, and here's what Davin Whitaker had to say to Coach O postgame about them being challenged at practice.
Yeah, they were tough practices, but we got better. Tuesday is actually a lot more fun than we all expected it to be. After the fact, we were kind of laughing about it because it was a lot of fun. We got better for sure. I mean, Coach knows what we need to help us win in the coming future. If we're not doing that in previous games, so it was what we needed.
Davin Whitaker, for a long time, hit the games only run yesterday with the solo homer that he absolutely tanked. A nuke, as they say, in the game. And he also had the warning after the Selly bat flip, kerfuffle on Friday. Here's my issue with that. Now, he stared right into the Rice dugout and looked that way in point. I mean, it was very clear on replay. Everything else I have no problem with him doing. And what I like about Davin Whitaker is this. 2 years ago, he did not play a single inning. Last year, he hit your weight, 188. And he has made himself into a reliable, and he's taken advantage, because I don't know how much he was factored in coming into the season.
I don't think very much.
He has taken advantage of the injuries and played extremely well and been extremely productive. And I'll say this about Davin Whitaker. It is not machismo or faux emotion or, it's genuine emotion from Davin Whitaker.
It is.
And in today's baseball world, that is very much appreciated.
Yeah, man. And you mentioned he hit 188. He was doing a lot of that in garbage time, mop-up duty. I think the highlight of his season last year was when we were up 9 runs. He had a solo shot off the right field foul pole to complete a walk-off mercy rule, right? And now Coach Godwin last week called 2 guys out by name in an interview that he did with Steven, pretty much saying, these are the guys I trust to give it their all every day, and Davin was one of those 2 guys.
That's why Tuesday was fun for him last week.
Yeah.
The other thing is yesterday, the tremendous job Luke Payne, Rose, and then Charlie Hoagland, the freshman, combining for the shutout. First shutout since they shut out UTSA in late March. I thought what a great job to pitch out of a couple bases loaded jams. The defense was stellar yesterday, and I thought the Pirates played with tremendous intent. And even when Rice got into those situations, because it was 1-0 for a long time, and Molly and I were making the comment on the telecast and off air that here is Rice again, keeping it within arm's reach, keeping it close. They're not going to blow you away with what they do offensively, but they will get timely hits. Yesterday, they didn't get the timely hits. They were given opportunities, but they did not get timely hits. The eruption on Friday night was unlike anything I've seen. In fact, I don't know if you knew this, Pilk. That was the largest comeback in a 9th inning in Rice baseball history, or like the largest inning of its kind. In that situation.
And they've got a lot of good history down there at Rice.
Yeah.
It ain't like this is some crap program.
Yeah. Saturday, and I didn't think ECU played awful Saturday. I mean, they didn't play great, but, I mean, they could have won easily Saturday also. Rice, had, again, a timely hit late in the game. And it's too bad because Norby was outstanding. But Norby couldn't have done anything more. Now to today, and here's the rub out of the weekend. You have found yourself in a situation where you are still in second solo. You don't have a lot of operating room with Rice behind you and Tulane coming in, and then you got to go to FAU, who's playing better all of a sudden. So you can't tie Rice. Just stay a game ahead of them right now in the standings if you can, some way, somehow. Can't catch UTSA. Well, I guess, what is it, 2-game deficit?
Yeah, 2.5 because of the head-to-heads.
Yeah.
You got to sweep and have them get swept.
Yeah. Now, they lost to Memphis this weekend.
All of a sudden, the hottest team in the American.
Memphis is the surprise team. So it is an interesting, and I think the tournament's going to be really intriguing this year. We'll find out from Wags where things stand. With that in mind, Pirates are 52 this morning in the RPI. And didn't do anything, I don't think, as a result of the win. I don't think they moved at all as a result of the win against Rice. And with an RPI as of this morning for Campbell was 69. And I don't know enough about the formula, but it just makes me wonder, was this game in a sense RPI'd out? I also think for ECU this is a wise thing to do, not play a game already with a depleted pitching staff.
I think the pitching staff more than anything. The short turnaround, the lack there of arms, I think, is more of what that was than RPI.
Here's another fact, and I think this is what this was. I'd be interested to find out if this would be explored or kicked around. But this is the first. They've not played this game, Rice at East Carolina, since 2023. And in other words, that late season engagement has not been played since 2023. And I realize that's only 3 seasons, but it's always a game in Greenville that doesn't get played. You always go to Campbell for the first road midweek of the year. Should that be reexamined, and is there any way to work that out?
Start flip-flopping them? Yeah, I think they should.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Because, especially early on, it might be a representative opponent to get on your I don't know. It's just food for thought, I suppose.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Number 2.
Number 2, sticking on the diamond for ECU, the softball season did come to an end at the hands of South Florida in the conference championship game Saturday afternoon. The Pirates lost the contest 5-1 to the Bulls. Haley Dieter had the long Pirate hit on the game as she hit a solo shot off the light pole in left center field.
What a run for Shane Winkler. After the baseball telecast, I was getting ready to get out and grab a bite, and I called Shane, wanted to talk to him. Was rooting like crazy for the Pirates, of course, and as I told him, you need to really enjoy this, but I know you guys will be back because it's going in that trajectory. And what was our guy Shane Winkler doing on Saturday night after dropping this championship game? All he could do was start talking. He was looking, all right, how do I make the dollars work with scholarships? What do I have available to bring players in? He also told me he's had just a result of this week and the exposure and the ESPN2 exposure on Saturday. He's had players in the portal or with the intent of getting in the portal reach out.
That's big. And I think, that's it helps that, like you said, they made the run the conference tournament. Maybe it helps the way that they won it. We were actually looking, me and a couple of my buddies were sitting there during the game when it ended up becoming Friday morning looking, and there was one thing currently on the ESPN app in college athletics.
Yeah.
It was East Carolina and Charlotte's softball game.
Right.
So if you wanted to watch sports in the United States, because all the NBA and hockey games were over from that night, literally the only sport being played in the United States at that point was ECU and in Charlotte, and obviously it ends in a walk-off home run. So
there were some nuts out watching it. I mean, when I mean non-ECU, non-Charlotte. There were some people out on the West Coast, I'm sure, or it's the famous line from The West Wing where the Martin Sheen character, who was the president, wanted to watch a sporting event on a Sunday, and they said the only sporting event on is they had two made-up universities playing a softball game.
yeah,
But they had carved out time in the fictional president's schedule so he could watch softball because he wanted to watch sports. I
There you
think
go.
that was always a funny line to me in that, and I think that's the case. Who knows? Maybe Donald Trump was up watching it since he is the president of these United States. Could have been.
3.
I'll say one other thing, too, on softball really quick. What a great crowd
yeah.
Saturday.
It was
I would
awesome. They
love
brought
it.
the energy, man. Pirate Nation should be proud.
Yeah. I would love it if, and then look, in 900 a game, maybe a tall order in February and all that, but I would encourage people to get out and take in more softball next year.
Yeah.
Because that is a park that can actually get a little loud with the right amount of people in it. All right, what's next?
For sure. All right, number 3, your PJ, because they hadn't lost yet. Never lost in these playoffs. Carolina Hurricanes are going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
To Hall. Hall whips it across. Blake with a shot. He scores! It's over! Series over! Jepson Blake wins it in overtime!
All right, that was the call from our great friend, Mike Maniscalco. And if you were watching among the vast video audience here, live or on the video podcast, you see Maniscalco in the booth cam, which was a great thing. Whoever put that together for the Canes was awesome. Pilk, I'm shocked. I'm not going to lie to you.
Eight's impressive.
As a longtime Carolina Hurricanes supporter, as a longtime Caniac, as Trip Tracy would say.
Wax just laughing.
Yes, as a longtime Caniac, I would say that this is amazing to me that they are 8-0. Surely they would have dropped any of these road series. Now,
Yeah.
Pilk, I think we would all agree is now things get a little tough. Things get a little different now.
Yeah, Buffalo and Montreal are like legit playoff teams. Whichever one you see deserves to be there. There's not many teams this year really across the NHL, Eastern or Western Conference, that you felt like were true playoff rosters. Canes obviously one of them, but I think in the Eastern Conference you look at Tampa and then really the two that are left between Buffalo and Montreal.
All right, we got to get to Wags, so let's get the next two through here. And we'll let Wags talk about that's right, I say it, Wags, our Carolina Hurricanes as well.
4-4-4.
Alrighty, number 4, the Bucks are fielding any trade offers for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks do have the 10th pick in this year's draft. If they want to move up, that's something they could possibly do. He is owed $58.5 million next year. He would have a player option the following year, which he would be owed almost $63 million. Speaking of the lottery, the number 1 pick goes to the Washington Wizards, followed by the Jazz, Grizz, and Bulls. Those were the 4 that were part of the lottery, and then the Hornets were not able to move up, so they have the 14th pick in next month's draft.
I think you'd be very excited if you did get drafted by Washington because you could play with who are the 2 guys that are there now?
Trae Young and
Anthony Davis. You for 6 games a year, you get to play with Trae Young and Anthony Davis. So that's the good thing about that there. I mean, that right there is what is
there you go.
Gonna get you excited, I'm sure. And then, to me, Pilk, the Giannis thing is intriguing because you still have him in prime years. He is a cornerstone. He's a face of the league caliber kind of guy, certainly face of the franchise guy. I would presume if you were making a trade for him, it is with the understanding that there will be the player option to pick. In other words, he would stay with you for 2 years. You can get 2 years out of him, minimum, with the idea that it would be somewhere he would want to go.
Yeah.
And even if you're a little unsure about the player pickup, is there somebody out there who's thinking, okay, we have some pieces, let's drop the trade here and maybe just try to win this whole thing next year. Just make a run for it.
That's going to be the tough thing. Who's in that spot right now where they've got enough where they can give up, I think, for Giannis. That's going to be the tough thing. Is there a team who's got a high enough pick that they're going to like or a piece?
Oklahoma City has plenty of pieces.
I don't think they need Giannis. They're going to win it again anyways. Why break up a good thing?
How about your Celtics?
I do not want to get rid of Jaylen Brown. That could be a whole segment. We're not talking about this over the 30 seconds that we have right now. I do not want to get rid of Jaylen Brown.
Okay. How about LeBron? Why don't they trade LeBron to Milwaukee?
Milwaukee doesn't want a guy who's 42.
5.
Alrighty, number 5, in one of the more impressive stories probably in NASCAR history yesterday at Watkins Glen, Shane Van Gisbergen pitted with 24 laps to go. He was 29 seconds behind the leader, Ty Gibbs, and was able to run him down and catch him with 6 laps to go. Went on to win the race by 7 seconds. I would say this is probably the most impressive thing, in my opinion, since the 1985 Winston 500 when Bill Elliott unlapped himself twice at Talladega, and that was the reason for them inventing restrictor plates and such things, because he was going like 212 miles an hour. And they're like, yeah, somebody might die if we keep letting them do this.
What would you compare this to in sports? Non-motorsports. What would this be comparable to?
The tough thing is he did it all himself. It wasn't like Gibbs made any mistakes. I mean, he would catch guys at tough spots on the track. This is a road course race, not a typical oval race being at Watkins Glen. So that's the tough thing is it has to be a great comeback, though, where the team who lost didn't screw it up. I mean, what would be the greatest comeback in sports history without any mistakes from the team that was winning?
Right.
I don't know. You would almost have to go.
Mistakes, though.
Yeah.
Because
no, I mean, he ran
all the way.
I mean, Gibbs was running consistent lap time. He was having to conserve fuel a little bit, but SVG's just that damn good on these road courses. It would almost have to be like Nadal's comeback against Federer in the greatest match ever played, where he was down 2-0 down in the third set and came back. That would probably be it.
Great. Another obscure sports reference from Phil the Ref Pilkington.
Hey,
Are we allowed to play music going to break? What are we able to do here?
We got some basic music going to break.
Okay. I didn't know. That's what I needed to talk to you about, but our connection issues at the beginning of the pre-show limited our time. Fellow Caniac, although he's a little bit of a Johnny-come-lately, Jonathan Wagner. Wags! From On3.com. Look at that playoff beard. He could star in a Western. He could be in Yellowstone. We're going to have Wags on. Field of 64 projections. Where are the Pirates? We'll talk the weekend that was for ECU baseball with our great friend Jonathan Wagner next.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Who's back reporting for duty?
You got here just in time.
Holy shit, man.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Anonymous text line. Pilk is leaving you hanging tomorrow. No, he's not leaving me hanging tomorrow. He'll be there. He's just got kind of double duty. Who's back in the studio tomorrow, Pilk?
Kasulki.
Oh, I'm Kasulki. Who's going to be there holding my hand since I'm a technical goof?
Cameron.
I think we're going to lose.
Who?
Cameron. She's she's Michael's
intern.
intern.
Cameron.
Yeah.
She did our show once.
Did she?
Yeah, remember that? That one day. I think Wags may have even been in the studio that day.
Maybe.
Jonathan Wagner. A big Caniac, but not as big as me, as I am totally been with this institution since Jump Street. Jonathan Wagner on 3.com. Baseball writer, editor, the whole nine with the site. Wags, good to see you, buddy. How are you? We missed you this weekend in Greenville. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm a little disappointed that tomorrow's game is canceled because I was going to try to make my way over for the last time this season. But,
right.
Of course, as fate happens, here we are. So I won't see you guys in person for another baseball game this season, which is unfortunate. But I'm doing well.
Okay.
Well, I guess we had to come your way. We'll go to a Bulls game, and then we can see you in person and go to a game there.
There's plenty of baseball up your way. There's Wilson, which is maybe a halfway point. There's, as he said, the Bulls. There's the Greensboro, there's plenty of stuff. High Point, the Rockers, there's plenty of stuff. Plenty of ways to go see baseball. They're doing something now in Zebulon. Yeah, that's still a big stadium. Still hide out there and have a few pops. Notice I'm shoehorning myself into this, Bill.
Hey, come on.
I want to hear the wit and wisdom of Wags. So they have not played Campbell and ECU in Greenville this sort of late season, second game of the season series since 2023. Is this what would be any RPI implications either side tomorrow? I mean, because as of this morning, ECU was 52, Campbell was 68, 69. And I understand there's probably more at play here with health of the rosters, and at least that from the ECU side, I would suspect that's what it's about, the pitching thinness. But how kind of explain that to the people before we get into the field of 64 and all of that what your projections look like today and thoughts on the weekend. So how would that work if, you because it really, ECU won yesterday and didn't move.
Yeah, I'll start with ECU's perspective, but for ECU, Campbell is RPI 69, and that would be, as a home game, a quad 3 game. So it doesn't really help you a whole lot. But it's also one of those games, RPI 69, yeah, it's a quad 3 game, and if you lose it, you lose a quad 3 game, but it's not one of those that's going to completely kill you. But, it's just tough because, Campbell is not in the at-large consideration. They're the CAA champions in the field, so it doesn't impact them because they're not trying to increase their RPI. So I really think it just comes down to both teams think it's better to save the pitching and save the potential injuries, focus on the weekends, which are more important for both teams, especially for ECU. So I hate it because I want to play the game because we can't get the curse of Campbell off of ECU's back if they don't play. But at the same time, I do understand the decision. I'm not really surprised by it all that much, but it is disappointing, that's for sure.
Yeah. Jonathan Wagner on 3.com. Let's, without further ado, jump in on the field of 64, and specifically East Carolina. You've been doing this since week 1. You're not some Johnny-come-lately, as you are as a fan of the Hurricanes. No. Guys like me, Caniacs from Jump Street, and you got – but look, there's room on the bandwagon. But Wags has been doing this. Wags has been doing this since February. So this is, and you know what? Here's the thing. Wags would put out these things, Pilk, and I'd say to myself, what is Wags thinking? But then, yes, now that all the other places, all of a sudden, Wags is, in my opinion, leading the charge on this. Everybody's fallen in line with what Wags has projected, in my opinion.
Because he actually pays attention to the mid-majors and not just the SEC and UCLA like everybody else.
Correct. All right, Wags, what do you got? Where are our Pirates?
Yeah, well, this weekend was devastating for East Carolina. Dropping 2 out of 3, it's one of those times you couldn't afford to do it. And last week, ECU was my last team in the field, and this week, ECU is my 4th team out of the field, so they are no longer in the NCAA tournament. The resume is not there. Now the RPI is down to 52. So that RPI 52 with the resume that ECU has is not really close to being in, I don't think. But the thing that ECU has working for them is this might be the worst bubble I have ever seen. And obviously that could change, after conference tournaments and stolen bids, that could be completely flipped. It could be one of the best bubbles we've ever seen. But right now, the bubble's weak. But in a weak bubble, ECU still does not have enough for me to put them in. So they are my 68th overall seed. They are out of the tournament, and they are missing out on postseason play, which would be a real bummer.
Maybe they should play the first 4 at like Comiskey Park, or I don't know. That's what we'd be in the first 4 if that were the case.
If 76 teams got in, we'd sure as hell be in.
We'd sure as hell be in. So Wags, where are you with this? Who are the other teams that Pirate fans should maybe be paying attention to in that kind of maybe grouping of 8 that includes East Carolina? Who are the 7 others that ECU fans should be paying a keen eye onto this week for ECU? Obviously, the Pirates, part of that is ECU's got to take care of business on the field. But who are some of the teams that are in this running?
Yeah, so my last 4 in, the first 2 teams are Virginia Tech and NC State. And both of those teams they were pretty comfortably in for me, but I kind of got to the point to where I had to, those were kind of the two spots I feel good about on the bubble.
Sure.
And then after that, it's just kind of a crapshoot, to be honest with you, just trying to figure out who deserves to fill out these spots because there's just not a lot of quality out there behind those two. So then I have Texas State and Purdue are my last two teams in. Purdue's RPI is a little problematic, and they don't have a ton on their resume either, but they have 18 wins in the Big Ten. But if they come out and stumble this week, their RPI will not be able to recover, so they'd probably fall below a team like ECU if ECU wins. But then you have Louisiana, and they're my first team out, and they're kind of a tough one because I believe they finish with Coastal Carolina, who's kind of reeling right now. So even by playing those games, Louisiana's RPI should increase. So they could be in a position to where they go 1-2 this weekend. They can move up just for doing that, depending on how the teams in front of them do. And then I have Miami of Ohio. Their RPI is top 41. And Troy is kind of in a similar RPI spot to ECU, but Troy has a little bit more. I think they have 6 quad 1 wins, and they just have a little bit more on their resume to me. So those are the teams ahead. And then behind, Pitt's RPI is in the 40s, but they have 10 wins in the ACC. So they're only there because, if they win a series and get to 12 in the ACC, I think they could be considered. But if they sweep this weekend, then they're probably going to be in. And then after that, Mercer is my 70th seed, and they're strictly an RPI thing. And then I have South Alabama, Southeast Missouri. But those two teams were strictly, to be completely honest with you, it's just I had to find a 71st and a 72nd team, and those were the highest RPI teams left that I felt solid about. So Vanderbilt, LSU, all those types of teams are off of my bubble. I don't think they can get in. So those are the main teams.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I'm writing stuff down here. Wag says it, I'm doing it. Let's see. Jonathan Wagner on 3.com. Pilk, before we get into the weekend, anything you want to react to or ask Wags about there?
Wags, just kind of looking at some of the stuff from this weekend that happened. Coastal, wow. Losing 2 out of 3 to ODU. Should they be concerned about hosting? I mean, probably national seed totally out the door. I think it might have already been, though. Could this be detrimental to being in Conway in 2 weekends?
Yeah, I think this weekend all but knocked Coastal out of the hosting race. And, it's a tough situation because Coastal, their RPI is down to 25, but they still have a 1-game lead in the Sun Belt. And the team that's behind them is Southern Miss. But Southern Miss has an RPI of 9. So Southern Miss feels really good about hosting. Southern Miss is locked into hosting. But Coastal, RPI 25 is problematic, and I don't have them hosting anymore. So they are my 22nd overall seed. So not only did they fall out of the top 16, but they fell out of that next group of 4. So 22, it's tough. I'm not sure if they have a path back. So if their RPI gets back to top 20, then I think they have a shot. But at 25, it's just Coastal. They don't have any chance to me to host. And that's crazy because 2 weeks ago, I would have considered them a lock and a top 8 possibility. But even after losing the first game to ODU, even if they would have won the series 2-1, I'm not sure if Coastal would have been hosting for me this week, which is kind of crazy to think about because they're starting to get healthy again.
Wags, and if you can't tell me, you cannot do this, but are you able to? Could we get a break in? Because we'll get strongly worded memos if we don't. Can we if we don't do 4 segments? So can we do a break and come back and do another segment and talk more about the weekend and what ECU has to do and all of that? Are you good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I love it. Wags, Jonathan Wagner. We'll let him on the Caniac bandwagon. All right, we're going to come back and talk more baseball. Stay tuned.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help.
Listen up. He's talking now.
Sorry, thought we were vibing.
The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Jonathan Wagner on 3.com has the Pirates out of the field of 64 based on what happened this weekend. He joins Pilk and myself here. So, Wags, with FAU coming up, more importantly, I think if you're East Carolina, you need to figure a way to stay ahead now of Rice. I mean, it would take probably a miracle of miracles. Not out of the realm of possibility, I suppose, but it would just take a lot to get a top seed. You'd have to have a lot break your way, and that includes UAB sweeping UTSA, and you'd have to sweep, which can be tough on the road. First and foremost, maintain that second seed. That's by any means necessary for the Pirates this weekend. Because right now, if they finish tied with Rice, the Owls would be the 2 seed going into Clearwater. So what would you look for out of ECU if you're Cliff Godwin going into the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday sets with FAU in Paradise?
Yeah. I mean, first off, you have to win the series. If you lose the series, then I think you can kiss any chances of making the tournament goodbye. Because I'm not sure if this team is equipped, like you said, to not have a top 2 seed in the American Conference tournament, because you get a double bye. You don't play until Friday if you get a top 2 seed. So that's huge for this team and where it is with pitching injuries. So you have to win this weekend. That's why I'm not terribly surprised or upset about canceling the Campbell game, is because this weekend is all that matters. So you have to ideally sweep, because if you sweep, you clinch the 2 seed. Right now, you are in sole possession of second place. You're a game ahead of Rice, a game ahead of UAB, who you have the tiebreaker over. So that's probably your only real contenders for the other 2 seed. But you have to take care of your own business. If you go 2-1 and Rice sweeps, then so be it. But you just have to go out and do everything you can to win every single baseball game you play this week. Because if you don't, again, I don't think this team can come out of a bracket in the conference tournament without having that double bye. So I think you have to sweep to clinch it. But if you go 2-1, you're asking for help. Rice has Tulane this weekend, and Tulane is fighting to make the tournament. So they're not going to be pitching off and resting guys. Everyone in this conference is really going to be pitching their guys and playing like a normal weekend, trying to win because they all have to win.
The performance that we've seen from Jack Herring is pretty darn remarkable. He's now got 51 Pilk games reached, 52, something like that.
It's how many ever games we've played. So we're 4 games left in the season. Should be, so 52, yeah.
Yeah, so he's reached in every game but one this year. Anyway, it's over 50 consecutive. And oddly enough, the Pirates may end up, I mean, you could say, okay, we've definitely got 4 more games this season, guaranteed. And then beyond that, everything is, is not promised. So I kind of look at what he's done, and I hope he'll, as a senior, will get a chance to challenge the Connor Norby record. I mean, truly challenge it, because I think that would be a wonderful story and a great tribute to a guy who's worked hard. But I mean, man, what a fantastic season he's had at a 3-hit game over the weekend. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seeing the ball as well as he is right now.
Yeah, for as much as this team has struggled, especially offensively this season, Jack Herring has been just a steady presence. And I think the most impressive part is I'm not convinced he's fully healthy, from that shoulder injury he had early in the year. And he came back early from that and produced right away. And now he's the MVP of this lineup, might be the MVP of the team. Because without Jack Herring, I don't think you're in some of these games, because he comes through, it's not always the home run ball. He comes through with a lot of doubles. He gets on base a lot. He walks it feels like he gets at least a walk every single game. So he just comes through. When you have guys on base, he's the guy I wanted to plate, and he's almost always come through this season. So, some of the other top guys in the lineup haven't been as productive as him, not as consistent at least. So having that consistent present, whether he's hitting 2, 3, 4, it's a nice comfort. Jack Herring's been awesome. You'll love to see a player like that who was kind of undervalued when he got here, in the eyes of, at least me. I didn't think Jack Herring would be anywhere close to what he has turned into. So it's a credit to the staff for giving him a chance and developing him, but it's a credit for him to putting the work in. And, that matters nowadays. You see a lot of kids who don't put in the work, and Jack Herring has, and he's improved offensively, defensively. And, like I said, I think he's probably the MVP of this team right now. So he has been just awesome. It's awesome to see it.
Sean Jenkins, we talked about the thin pitching, and it was announced that Jenkins will undergo surgery, so he's done for the year. And that certainly is a big blow. And a guy like Jenkins you probably could have used Friday night. I mean, who knows what happens if you have a healthy Jenkins coming out there Friday, or you could at least go to him in that situation in the 9th inning potentially. So it certainly changes the makeup. Wags, outside of the winning, I mean, what affects the winning now for ECU? What's the formula, in your opinion, for East Carolina to be able to win baseball games from here on out?
Yeah, it's the bats, and I think it's been a common theme. Credit to Austin Knight, because with all of the injuries on this pitching staff, the pitchers have done a heck of a job. The pitchers have kept this team in it. The pitchers are the reason that this ECU team is still even in the conversation to make the tournament or not. So, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Ryan Towers, you need him to come out on, I assume, Thursday. I assume you're just going to keep the normal rotation. And you need Towers to be good. You need Norby to be good. And then you need the bats to show up. Because if the bats gave you a couple more runs on Friday this past week, then maybe you're not going to Joseph Webb there, or for not as long. And maybe he can come back again and get you out of a game on Saturday. So the bats need to give the pitching support. If the bats do not show up this weekend, ECU will not win. They will not sweep, and they will definitely not win the series. So the bats have to show up. 1 through 9, Grady Linehan's back. He gave us a little bit of a spark at times, but you need the middle and bottom of the order to kind of pull their weight, because if they don't, I think it might be a long weekend.
All right. Chance to brag on the Canes. Who would have thought 8-0 and a pair of sweeps, and here they are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Exciting times. Are you fired up, Wags?
I'm fired up. Last year I think was a lot of people say, this is an easy path, but I would argue that Ottawa was tougher than facing New Jersey last year in the first round. And then Philly's Philly. Philly wasn't supposed to be here yet, and they got in. But that's still a team with a lot of youth. So like Philip says, youth is dangerous when they come into playoffs because they're not as worn down. They're younger. Their bodies can overcome it a little more. But the Canes, I don't think they've played exceptionally well in round 2, at least offensively. But their shutdown system, their defensive system has been elite. And that's what it gives me hope going into Buffalo, Montreal, because it's a completely different style of hockey. The Canes are shut down, they're defensive, and they're not nearly as structured on the other side of there. So I'm excited to see it. This team is exciting, and it's making me nervous how exciting I'm getting. So we'll see how it goes.
Hey, Wags, good to see you again. We'll talk to you perhaps next week you'll do another projections going to the conference tournaments, won't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, because it'll be Monday. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
sounds good.
Phil, let's go ahead and book Wags. Can you do next Monday, Wags?
Sounds good to me.
All right, Wags next Monday. Boom. All right, we'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
Ready to bring on the savings at Greenville Toyota with major deals on brand new Toyotas like a Camry $229 a month or RAV4 $279 a month. Now's your turn to save at Greenville Toyota.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, Newbern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
The hunting and fishing event of the summer comes to the Greenville Convention Center, July 11th and 12th, bringing together the best hunting and fishing vendors, outfitters, and fishing experts, all under one roof. Special free events, including a mountain trout pond, indoor archery range, offshore fishing experience, interactive duck blind, and free seminars. Don't miss it. The Mid-Atlantic Hunting and Fishing Expo is July 11th and 12th.
Bring on the savings with new Toyotas from $159 a month at Greenville Toyota. Get huge discounts like Corolla's $159 a month or Tacoma's $249 a month. Save today at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
And now, the stunning conclusion.
I
Mooney on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, thank you, Pilk. We are getting ready for our opening day for the Down East Bird Dogs tomorrow. It'll be opening night, and we will be with you. Looking forward to returning there for another exciting edition of opening night with the Bird Dogs. It's a nice radio homecoming, too. We get a chance to see a lot of our folks that are in the industry we're in. Pilk will be there tomorrow, which I'm extremely excited about, so that'll be a good time. We'll be there from 5 until 6 now tomorrow with the cancellation of ECU Campbell. We'll be outside of historic Granger Stadium on the Superior Metal and Structures, a concrete field for Bird Dogs baseball, the opener. They will have a first pitch at 7. The gates will open at 6, as they will have $2 Tuesdays, $2 tickets, and $2 concessions. All right, thanks to Jonathan Wagner for being with us. We'll see you in the morning on Talk of the Town back here tomorrow from Kinston, K-Town, for Bird Dogs season opening baseball on the Patrick Johnson Show. Thanks to Pilk as well. Have a great evening, everybody.